Uh-oh, an old video from 20 years ago is resurfacing that Hillary and Soros don't want you to see. Well, too bad. That's exactly what we're going to do, and we're going to get to the bottom of what Soros and the Democrats have planned for the world and why their plans are ultimately falling apart.
We once again have to become better citizens. You know, it is not enough for America's future that some participate and others don't. We have been given an extraordinary blessing, and at this moment in time, our country needs us. And we need people like George Soros, who is fearless and willing to step up when it counts. So please join me in welcoming George Soros.
It is the first time that I feel that I need to stand up and do something really and become really engaged in the electoral process in this country.
Now, that was from June of 2004. Soros would go on to spend upwards of $25 million in his attempt to defeat President Bush in the 2004 election. And in many respects, that began Soros's infamous attempt at using his billions to reshape the world in his own radical leftist image. It all goes back 30 years ago to an event called Black Wednesday, when Soros and a group of investors bet against the British pound, predicting that it would fall below the lowest exchange limit allowed by what was known as the European exchange rate mechanism, which was set up to stabilize the multi-currency markets in Europe in order to transition into the euro currency. The long and short of it is the mechanism set up an upper and lower margin in which exchange rates could vary. Soros speculated that the pound would fall below the lower margin and influence a number of other investors to dump the pound in their currency markets and buy up like the German Deutschmark instead. And the result was that the British pound tanked. And Soros ended up making over $1 billion in a single month. And ever since then, Soros has been seen as the man who could bring down not just a nation's currency, but entire world systems. And that's exactly what he's been doing ever since. In fact, a lot of people don't know, but Soros is quite the scholar. He's used his affluence to dedicate time to writing and disseminating his radical leftist views which radically undermine the role of the United States in the world political order. Back in 2006, Soros actually said that the, quote, main obstacle to a stable and just world is the United States. Business Insider recently ran a piece showing how Soros's efforts inside the United States are consistent with that view. He wants to intentionally weaken the United States from within so as to weaken its power abroad. Soros saw the United States' sole superpower status as a threat to international peace and prosperity. And so in order to further a far more multilateral world order, he's been deliberately trying to sow internal discord and disarray here at home. And the key here, as we saw in that Hillary Clinton introduction, the key here is the role the radicalized Democratic Party is playing in all of this. It's the Democrats that have been radicalized, not Republicans, Democrats. They are openly attempting to bring in a post-American society within our borders. The Democrats are deliberately trying to weaken the United States, particularly at local municipal levels with these insane DAs, so as to be able to usher in a more globalist-inspired conception of government in accordance with Soros's vision. That would certainly explain the tens of millions of dollars poured into the coffers of some of the most anti-law enforcement Democrats on the planet, and it takes stock of Soros's radical commitment to globalization and centralization in institutions like the WEF. Soros has long made his open hatred of national borders and border enforcement well known. When criticizing Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban back in 2017, Soros said, quote, Orban's plan treats the protection of national borders as the objective and the refugees as an obstacle. Our plan treats the protection of refugees as the objective and national borders as the obstacle. For Soros, nationalism and national identity is something to be shattered and replaced with the far more cosmopolitan ideals of his own progressive globalism. So that's a short summary of Soros and his aims and his goals. So how's he doing? Well, while he certainly is causing a lot of mayhem in our nation and in our cities and around the world, the wonderful news is that there really is a worldwide backlash against Soros like never before. You're going to absolutely love this. But first, gang, as you can see, with speculators like Soros roaming around, the system is incurably rigged against patriots who love faith, family, and freedom. And so that's why it's more important now, more important than ever, to return to the timeless value of gold and silver for this rising new conservative age. And that's where our good friends over at Goldco come in. Click on that link below and learn the 3 simple steps you can take right now to protect your savings with gold and silver. In fact, Goldco are patriots just like us, and they're offering up to $10,000 in free silver while supply lasts. So don't wait. Click on that link below or visit my special website, turleytalkslikesgold.com. A number of nations are indeed rising up and pushing back or outright banning Soros' organizations from conducting business inside their borders. Perhaps the most antagonistic nation towards Soros, ironically, is his own home country of Hungary. Back in December of 2018, Soros' Open Society Foundations announced that it had become impossible to work in what they called the repressive atmosphere of Hungary, and that they were indeed picking up and moving their operations to Berlin. Moreover, Prime Minister Viktor Orban also oversaw the expulsion of Soros' Central European University from Budapest. The Hungarian government refused to grant accreditation to the university, which forced them to close their doors and leave Hungary altogether. And then right around the same time, in August of 2018, the nation of Poland deported a top Soros organizer, and they were able to have her effectively banned from entering inside the EU. More recently, it was reported that the military regime in Myanmar had seized control of the bank accounts of Soros' Open Society Foundations inside their nation and announced that they would be taking legal action against the foundation, which they accuse of violating restrictions on the activities of such NGOs. Russia, of course, long ago passed a law that no longer permitted Soros to fund organizations operating within its borders. China has been increasingly pushing back against Soros, India as well. So all of this suggests that much of the world has had it with this guy. Even Soros himself has admitted that the world is turning away from him, becoming far more nationalist, populist, civilizationalist. So sorry, Hillary. This guy who you introduced as a blessing to you and your progressive kin is increasingly being ostracized by more and more of the world. Let's hope that we here in the United States follow suit as well. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on Biden imploding in the polls as the CIA whistleblower panics the White House and reveals all. You're going to absolutely love it, so make sure to click on that link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.